This is CBC Here and Now.
Police came to my door and asked me if I would leave because there was a situation on the go.
Marystown residents speak after this weekend's deaths.
Passenger protests. Newly enforced ferry rules have some Bell Islanders fuming.
Nunavut accuses Nowcor and the province of not living up to their Muskrat Falls commitments.
Well, more of the same for the east tomorrow, but rain moving in midweek for pretty much everyone. Jose expected to keep its distance. All the details coming up.
Well, people in Marystown are in shock tonight following the discovery of two bodies over the weekend.
A 37-year-old man and an 18-year-old woman were found dead in two separate locations. Here Now's Ryan Cook is live tonight in Marystown. Ryan, what have police said about these deaths?
Well, Debbie, not much, but here's what we do know. Late Saturday night around 10 p.m., police issued an advisory. They were looking for this man, Jeff Kilfoy. They said Kilfoy, who is from Marystown but has worked in Western Canada, was armed and dangerous. On Sunday, just before 6 o'clock in the evening, police released another statement saying Kilfoy had been found dead and there was no further risk to the public. In the same news release, police said they found the body of an 18-year-old woman here in the apartment of this home on McGettigan Road, where Kilfoy was known to live. Kilfoy's body was located here, a short distance from the home, on a wooded trail in the Mooring Cove area of Marystown. Now, a neighbor here said she knew something was wrong when police came to her door on Saturday.
I saw the police cars next door, so I knew something was going down. Wasn't sure what it was, but the police came to my door and asked me if I would leave because there was a situation on the go that could be dangerous. So I just took my keys and coat and left right away.
Did you know Mr. Kilfoy at all?
Yeah, we did. We knew him. He's been into our home a few times, but yeah, we didn't know him well, but we did know him.
So what are police not telling us? Well, they're certainly not putting any labels on this yet, and they're not saying murder-suicide, even though all the signs do point to that. And just before the show, we were able to identify the victim. Her name is Rihanna Grywaszewski. She came here from Saskatchewan about a month ago. Her family says she left home to be with her boyfriend. The two had met while he was in Regina. We've learned that he worked there as a barber but came back earlier this summer. He told friends he was excited to be home. He had ideas for work, he had a new girlfriend, he was able to see his 3 children. But he also had his demons. A childhood friend who wished to remain anonymous says Kilfoy battled addictions, and court records show 3 DUIs. Now, police are waiting for autopsy results before they will say exactly what happened inside this apartment. But regardless of what it is, a young girl is dead and 3 children are without their father. Reporting live for Here Now in Marystown, I'm Ryan Cook.
Well, another death to tell you about tonight. A man died after the tractor trailer he was driving went off the Trans-Labrador Highway and down a steep embankment. The accident happened on Friday night about 80 kilometers west of Happy Valley Goose Bay in an area known as Pope's Hill. The driver was from Mount Joli, Quebec. He was 59 years old.
The Nunavut government is disappointed with the province. It says Premier Dwight Ball isn't honoring his commitment to minimize methyl mercury contamination at Muskrat Falls. Protesters have long argued that flooding the Muskrat Falls Reservoir will result in dangerous levels of methyl mercury in Lake Melville and will contaminate fish, sea, and seabirds downstream. The province met with the Innu Nation, Nunavut government, and the Nunavut Community Council last fall. In June, Premier Dwight Ball said Nowcor had begun lowering water levels at the reservoir, but today, Nunavut's president said government has since gone back on that promise.
Like, the Premier of Newfoundland, Labrador, too, you speak to the people and most certainly to let the people know why, there are issues in lowering the water levels. Our issue doesn't change. We're still looking at the province honoring the commitments that they have made and to honor those commitments.
Here Now reached out to the province and Nalcor for a response, but did not hear from them before airtime this evening. Now, coming up in about 30 minutes, more of my conversation with Nunavut President Johannes Lamp.
Well, the beleaguered Bell Island ferry can't stay out of the news. Last week, CBC News revealed the new ferry has cost thousands of dollars a day in overtime due to scheduling problems. And today, not one, but two protests about a regulation requiring passengers to leave their cars while the ferries are underway. Here Now's Mark Quinn explains.
It's been a long, stressful day for a lot of people here at the Bell Island Ferry Terminal in Portugal Cove.
The trouble started here on the Flanders. The ferry was supposed to depart at 11:15, but didn't budge for hours. And here's why. A mother and daughter heading home to the island after a medical procedure refused to leave their car. Transport Canada regulations require that all passengers exit vehicles and climb stairs to a higher deck for safety. But when people in this car refused to do that, the Flanders stayed tied on to the wharf and police were called in. More than 3 hours later, after some tense negotiations, the passengers relented and made their way to the upper deck. The Flanders did load and leave, but the ferry trouble wasn't over yet. Less than 15 minutes later, the other ferry, the Legionnaire, also struggled with a protest. Some of its passengers also refused to exit a vehicle as the new ferry made its way to Bell Island. The Legionnaire turned around and returned to Portugal Cove, but just short of its berth, the protest ended and the Legionnaire sailed on to Bell Island. Regular ferry users are shaking their heads. Today's protest follows another similar one last month when a woman who uses a wheelchair refused to leave her vehicle. Provincial Department of Works and Transportation officials say they're aware of the protests, and they say they're looking for ways to keep the ferries moving on schedule and accommodate passengers with special needs. Mark Quinn, CBC News, Portugal Cove, St. Phillips.
Authorities in Happy Valley Goose Bay want drone operators to ensure they're operating within the rules. Earlier this month, a drone came close to hitting an aircraft that was landing in the town. The federal government made rules for flying drones recreationally much more stringent earlier this year, especially if they're flying near a military airfield. Drone users have to stay 5.5 kilometers away from a normal airfield and 18.5 kilometers away from a military one. One local helicopter pilot turned drone user says it's important to take the rules seriously.
We live in a town, albeit not a heavily populated town, but it's got one of the longest runways in North America. And we got a lot of technical and transatlantic and medical stops. So there's a lot of heavy metal that lands at our airport. And we have to govern ourselves as drone operators in a responsible manner and stay clear of it.
Well, in just 8 days, many municipalities across the province will elect new councils, including here in St. John's. 3 people are running to be mayor of the capital city: current councillor Danny BREEN, former mayor Andy Wells, and newcomer to politics RENEE SHARPE. Earlier today, Here Now's Anthony Germain spoke with the candidates about their spending priorities. Things got a little testy.
There's been substantial procedural violations involving millions and millions of dollars done behind closed doors, done without public debate, done without public knowledge. Okay. That, to my mind, is extremely unsatisfactory.
Mr. BREEN, there certainly were a lot of eyebrows raised for some golden handshakes, for lack of a better word. What's your response to that kind of criticism?
A lot of those severance agreements were inflated because of policies that were brought in by Andy Wells when he was mayor.
That's factually untrue, sir.
No, it's my turn.
Yes, it is.
Well, Anthony's full interview with the mayoral candidates is coming up in just over 15 minutes from now.
Well, still with St. John's and a developing story happening at City Hall right now. In less than an hour ago, a deal was announced that will see professional basketball played out of Mile 1 this fall. The city says the agreement with the National Basketball League of Canada won't see any increase in the subsidy the city currently provides to Mile 1 and the St. John's Convention Centre. It guarantees 20 regular season games and the potential for 10 playoff games. There's no word on what team will play out of Mile 1. Team owners are expected to announce that coming up soon.
This week, we're taking a deeper look at the struggles of right whales. Several dead whales have washed up in this province. There's been a moratorium on right whales disentanglements in Canada and the U.S. since the death of a whale rescuer in New Brunswick. Freeing them is a complicated process that was developed in Cape Cod, and that's where we sent Carolyn Ray.
It's a right whale's lowest moment, entangled in fishing gear, struggling to break free. In Cape Cod, they see so many entangled marine animals, it warrants a full-time team. They're called out to rescues nearly every day.
Today we went out to look for an entangled leatherback sea turtle. Unfortunately, that turtle was lost, and so we're hoping we'll come across it in the next few days.
Provincetown is where Joe Howlett was trained to save whales. He's the first to die on a rescue mission.
Until we know the full details of Joe's death, and Joe is a good colleague and friend of mine, it does make our job sort of difficult in the sense we don't want to put ourselves in a similar position that Joe was in. And so we have to know what position that was so we can avoid that for the future.
Oh, that's easy forward go.
Howlett's death drew the immediate halt of all right whale rescues on both sides of the border, putting rescuers in a devastating position, grieving Howlett while unable to help a species that's suffering a dramatic decline.
There have been years where right whales have come so close to shore that you could hear the gasp of their breath from here. For those who work with them, they get to know them so well that with each loss, it's like losing a friend.
But Howlett's death has been a wake-up call.
I've been as close as Joe was to right whales, and I've been, I think, overly confident. And overconfidence in an environment like that is not good.
At the Center for Coastal Studies, Charles "Stormy" Mayo was one of two men who came up with a way to free the whales. The building has a constant reminder of the importance of their work. This humpback whale was one Mayo couldn't save. Her jaw nearly sawed in two after being tangled in rope.
I was probably in a lot more danger than I thought in some of my work. I may have been lucky, I guess.
Mayo anxiously waits for the report on Howlett's death to see if there are ways to ensure the safety of others, while the community's rescue team heads out on more calls, saving other species while they wait. Carolyn Ray, CBC News, Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Joel Thomas Hines for his novel Joel Thomas Hines for his novel We'll All Be Burned in Our Beds Some Night.
Well, the long list for Canada's biggest literary prize was unveiled in St. John's this morning, and local author Joel Thomas Hines has made the cut. The announcement was made at the Rooms. It's part of an ongoing effort to hold Giller events outside of Toronto. Lisa Moore, a past Giller nominee, says it's a thrill to see authors from this province being recognized.
Really exciting to see Joel on that list. You know, he's such a hilarious writer and dark at the same time. So his writing is, you know, vibrant and alive and captures voice here. So that's pretty exciting.
Grenfell students burning the midnight oil can now hit the books and burn calories. A new stationary bike has been added to the school's study area. The machine has a built-in desk to hold books or a tablet. It's like a typical exercise bike, but less noisy. That is definitely multitasking.
Well, more than 100 people gathered at Lance Cove Beach on Bell Island on Saturday to mark the 75th anniversary of one of the few Second World War attacks that reached our shores. German U-boats raided Bell Island twice in 1942 and sank 4 ore carriers. 69 men were killed. It's a loss that's never been forgotten on the island. A memorial now stands off the beach near the spot where the attacks occurred, and there was a wreath laying to remember those who were killed.
Well, from that very real news of our history to something much less so, a weekend Facebook rumor has a farm in St. John's calling it fake news.
Yeah, a viral hoax claimed that the popular Newfoundland herb Savoury was being discontinued, but Mount Scio Farm says that's not happening.
Yeah, the farm's theory is a competing herb is trying to corner the Thanksgiving market.
It seems to be some kind of a stealth promotion of pumpkin spice. Allspice, nutmeg,
cinnamon, ginger. It's kind of like the things that go in a Christmas cake or something. It's just all these, I guess it's associated with Thanksgiving. So, you know, like people may be a bit concerned. People are pretty devoted to savory, and that's, I don't think it's going to be displaced by pumpkin spice anytime soon. It's savory is a thing. I've been working at it the last couple of weeks, so my aching body is telling me that it's not going away.
Oh, that's really good. We don't have to start stocking up because there's nothing that replaces savory.
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
it's certainly a reminder to look at where your news is coming from if you see it on Facebook, because in other fake news, there was a similar rumor on social media that Labatt's Blue Star beer was being discontinued, but that was also quickly debunked.
Yes, and I promise you that there will be no fake news when we get back from the break when I have our weather forecast.
We now know the lineup for the upcoming St. John's International Women's Film Festival.
Yeah, in about 3 minutes, we'll share that with you. Welcome back to Here and Now. Driving around town, you notice that the dogberry trees seem to be really laden this year, which of course, the old omen that means we're going to get a lot of snow this winter. I won't make you forecast that far ahead.
Definitely not. And last year, it's interesting. Last year, there were very few dogberries on the go. I remember we did a story on that last year, and this year seems to be a very dramatic difference in the number of dogberries. And I just wanted to show you this photo that was sent to us from Brigus. You can see some dogberries there. Isn't that
Lovely.
lovely? Yes.
Lovely, lovely. And you know, I've been noticing going around Kitty Vitty Lake, all of a sudden they were just everywhere.
Yeah.
It was the real shock that we left summer to fall, but yeah, there seemed to be a lot.
And when I was out in Carbonera last week, we noticed a lot of them along the highway. So yeah, hopefully it does not mean that we are going to have a harsh winter. So I can't forecast that far in advance, but I can forecast for the next few days, and this is what is on the way. For the east, we're going to see a very similar day tomorrow as today, so we're going to see some sunshine and about 17 degrees tomorrow, so that's nice. We are going to have some wet weather moving in midweek. Pretty much everyone in the province will be seeing some showers and some drizzle, and I know we were keeping an eye on Jose last week, and it's pretty much no risk of seeing Jose in this neck of the woods. So yeah, we're not too concerned about that. Should be staying pretty far south from us. So let's have a look at where Jose is right now. You can see how far down it is along the coast. Is expecting that Jose will move northwards and then stall out just south of Nova Scotia. So there's a tropical cyclone statement in effect for some parts of Nova Scotia, but we're not expecting to see any of that. What we could see tonight, though, frost. If you have any plants that you don't want to destroy overnight tonight, like my lime tree, which I will definitely be bringing in, you'll want to bring it in tonight, because for central parts of the island and in the east, there's a pretty good chance of some patchy frost in low-lying areas tonight, and that's because it's going to be pretty clear. Not much cloud cover overnight tonight. Some showers, though, for Labrador West moving in there, and also some showers along the west coast of the island. So, but for this evening, it's going to be pretty cool, fairly clear skies and some showers, and temperatures pretty low there in Labrador as well. Cartwright, a low of 2 degrees there. So things are going to stay pretty nice and warm, though. Tomorrow we're going to have those southwesterly winds that will keep the temperatures nice and mild in the mid to upper double digits. So we have some more showers moving in for a lot of the island tomorrow and parts of Labrador, but here in the east, we should be spared a lot of that wet weather. We're going to start off the day with about 10 degrees, sun and cloud. And we'll get up to about 17 with some sun in the afternoon, and in the evening time, it's still going to be quite mild, 15 degrees with some sun. So not much precipitation happening in the east tomorrow. So for the rest of the island, you can see the whole Avalon Peninsula is looking pretty nice with 17 degrees as the high there. Chance of showers in northeastern parts of the island tomorrow, but still pretty warm, 19 as the high in Humber Valley tomorrow. So there's a much better chance of showers there along the west coast, and showers as well in Labrador, Lab City, getting up to about 14 degrees. Should be a fairly cloudy day in Nain and Makkovik, but temperatures in the mid double digits. So I'll have a closer look at your long range forecast coming up a bit later. Debbie?
Thanks, Carolyn. Well, in just over a month, close to 5,000 people will be in St. John's to take part in screenings, panels, and workshops. They'll be part of the annual St. John's International Women's Film Festival, and today the festival announced its lineup. The 5-day event tracks some of the top female filmmakers, and this year the opening night gala will feature a film made by a woman from St. John's. Here now's Jeremy Eaton has that story.
Good morning, sunshine.
The scene seen here is from a movie called Suck It Up. This feature-length film will open the festival. It's directed by St. John's own Jordan Canning.
That film has been blowing up at festivals across the country and across the world, really. We are, I believe, its last festival before it's hoping to go to theaters, which we really hope for. So we really want people to come out, celebrate Jordan, this really amazing story.
Like every weekend, probably.
The movie is one of the many to be shown next month. Today, the list of all the flicks to be played during the St. John's International Women's Film Festival were announced. Organizers gave a little nod to movies past with these 3D-friendly programs.
We've got some old school red and blue glasses, and there's lots of little hidden 3D elements throughout the guide, so we encourage you to grab the programs, look through them.
With help from RBC, the 2017 Michelle Jackson Emerging Artist Award was given out. This year's winner, Carrie Gamberg. Cheering her on, last year's winner, Emily Bridger.
So you get to make a short film, which is an amazing opportunity in and of itself, but also the festival, the prize provides you with mentorship. So you also get to learn like twice as much as you would normally making a film.
Cut!
Bridger's short film Waste It will screen on closing night at the Scotiabank Theatre.
It's so amazing, and this festival is almost as old as I am, so it's just always been such a source of inspiration and support to me, so it means so much. It's going to be screening on closing night of the festival, and it's very meaningful to me.
More than 40 films in total will be shown, both at the LSPU Hall and Scotiabank Theatre.
Offer people in St. John's an opportunity to see films that they're never going to get to see elsewhere. It's, such amazing, high-quality products from people all over the world, and you could see independent theatre here or cinema here that you wouldn't otherwise.
The 28th version of the film festival runs from October 18th until the 22nd. Organizers have jammed the 5 days full with lots of movies, panels, and talks. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, Danny BREEN, RENEE Sharpe, Andy Wells. In 9 days, one of them is going to be mayor of St. John's.
But tonight, we bring them together and see where they stand on the question of spending.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Voters in St. John's will soon choose a new mayor. Friday is the deadline for getting mail-in ballots to the post office. And the three candidates who want the capital city's top job are BREEN, a city councillor since 2009. RENEE SHARPE is a welder and a women's self-defense instructor, as well as a community activist. And Andy Wells is trying to re-enter municipal politics. He was first elected mayor of St. John's in 1997, and he was re-elected in both 2001 and 2005. Welcome to Here Now.
Thank you.
Going to keep this discussion focused on one principle, and that is, if you were to be elected mayor of St. John's, what would your spending priorities be? Danny BREEN?
Well, I think you have to look at it for both capital and operating spending. From a capital perspective, one thing I wouldn't be spending money on is in private developments. I think that the developers, the policy that the developers are responsible for their own infrastructure needs to be adhered to. It hasn't been adhered to. Back in 2007, it wasn't adhered to. I've always voted in favor of that policy and will continue to vote in favor of that policy.
Too many perks for developers?
Yeah, well, you know, I think that the developers are doing private developments. They need to pay for their own infrastructure. And that's something that I'm committed to and something to continue.
Let's get RENEE SHARPE so we get each of you to sort of talk about this. RENEE?
Yeah, thank you. So knocking on the doors, I'm having lots of really great conversations with people in the community. And what I'm hearing is a frustration with the lack of choices that people have in regards to how our money is spent. So if I get in as mayor, and I would love the chance because I'm a community worker who's used to working with what the people need. Right. So in regards to more affordable housing, cheaper rent, access to services such as mental health and addiction services, that's how I would focus my spending in a creative and innovative way that's fair and equitable for all of our citizens with no one left out.
So if you were to bring about sort of better or more services, would that mean our taxes would be going up?
Absolutely not. I would work my hardest to keep them as low as possible. I would never practice to lower taxes because that's not within my power as a mayor of St. John's. But what I would do is work really hard to keep them as low as possible and to spend them in the fairest way possible, making sure that everyone has a say in how our tax money is spent, and that's the transparency piece too, making sure people know where our money is spent and have a voice in how we are spending it together.
Andy Wells, you've never been shy about criticizing how you see spending being done. What would you do if you were actually back in the chair?
Well, the most important thing this next council can do after a 75% increase in spending over the past 7 or 8 years, some $100 million, is to spend less. And my fundamental commitment to the taxpayers of St. John's is to see in 2018 that they get exactly the same, contrary to what Councillor BREEN has said on other occasions, exactly the same tax bill that they got in 2015. They'll get the same tax bill in 2018. That will put a lot of money back into taxpayers' pockets, the pensioners and other people who badly need tax relief. The other thing that I would do is address the waste and corruption which has permeated this City Hall. This has been a very wasteful, very corrupt City Council. They've given themselves and the top bureaucrats at City Hall horrendous wage increases, and none of it is justified in terms of the average salary that obtains in this community, and the need for a council to deal realistically with over expenditure.
Strong language. Mr. BREEN, do you want to respond to that?
Well, you know, our goal and my goal is to reduce taxation, and you reduce that by creating efficiencies and lowering taxes, but continuing to provide the necessary services. You know, corruption, you know, I don't know where that comes from. I mean, I'm somebody that goes to work and tries to do their best for the residents in an honest and forthright fashion. I don't appreciate being called corrupt, but I mean, that's what you deal with, I guess. But what we are doing is I want to be focused on making sure that the services that the taxpayers want, that they get it in the most cost-effective manner possible, and that we deal with the capital requirements that we have in this city right now.
RENEE SHARPE, do you share Mr. Wells' assertion that there's been some problems with spending? I don't know if you go so far as to say it's corrupt and there's been waste, but what's your assessment?
I do have a different vision of how we would spend money for sure. And I'm a type of leader who would work in collaboration with the expertise that already exists on City Council. So I'm looking forward to getting that chance and also working with the expertise that exists in the community. So when it comes to a different type of spending vision, I would absolutely make sure that the basic needs of every constituent is met before we invest 15 $15 million into the Mile 1 Entertainment Stadium and also the Metrobus combined. With a lack of transparency there, we don't know why that money is being spent on something that's not benefiting everyone.
Andy Wells is shaking his head in agreement.
The corruption I'm talking about is the procedural corruption, the spending of substantial sums of money behind closed doors. Councillor BREEN orchestrated a $700,000 grant to the IceCaps hockey team. There was no public discussion, no public debate. Executive salaries went from an average of $160,000 to over $220,000 till the end of 2016, a $60,000 increase for the top bureaucrats at City Hall. There was 133 positions apparently created, but no public discussion, no public debate, at an average salary of $92,000, all done behind closed doors. There's a freedom of information bylaw, there's a severance policy bylaw, there's been substantial procedural violations involving millions and millions of dollars done behind closed doors, done without public debate, done without public knowledge.
Okay.
That, to my mind, is extremely unsatisfactory.
Mr. Breen, there certainly were a lot of eyebrows raised for some golden handshakes, for lack of a better word. What's your response to that kind of criticism?
A lot of those severance agreements were inflated because of policies that were brought in by Andy Wells when he was mayor.
That's factually untrue, sir.
No, it's my turn.
Yes, it is.
The other issue is, as I mentioned, Torbay Road North, that was a deal done to absolve a developer from necessary improvements done behind closed doors in a private meeting. So there are some issues. We have some issues to get salary costs under control. The average salary is $72,000, not $92,000. We no longer tie management salary increases to the collective agreements.
But were decisions made in private that should have been done publicly?
Everything came back out in the public chamber, and I mean, we keep talking about the ice caps and the $700,000. We were able to rearrange the revenues in the building and the expenses, and the net impact was $50,000. You know, when Andy Wells was mayor, there was $1 million given to the airport authority to expand the tarmac. So economic development investments are not foreign to this to City Council.
RENEE Sharpe, I'd like to ask you about your sense of Mr. Wells' platform. When I listen to Andy Wells say what he believes in, it seems to me that we could get the benefit of lower taxation, but that it might affect services. And what I hear from a lot of people is, my taxes are my taxes, but I want to see services for those taxes. So
that's right.
Would you criticize Andy Wells for wanting to reduce taxes as opposed to improve services?
You know, I have to say outright, I have full respect for both of all of the mayoral candidates here at the table, and I have full respect for everyone on City Council making decisions in the best way that they can with what they have. Me personally, I would think in a more creative, innovative way, and again with the community's needs at the forefront. So I would not be cutting any taxes that people need in regards to snow clearing. People are concerned about cuts to city services when we promise lowering taxes. So
right.
are we going to cut the snow plowing? Because we do need clear sidewalks for people with mobility issues, with people who are pushing a stroller, with people who are moving forward, just trying to have a dignity to life in our St. John's. Are we going to tax? Are we going to cut services such as an after-school program for feeding our kids? Are we going to cut taxes to infrastructure? No.
All right, I guess we need part two of this debate. I want to thank all three of you for coming in. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anthony.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And that, of course, Danny Breen, RENEE Sharpe, and Andy Wells are all competing for the mayor's job of St. John's.
And don't forget that Friday is the deadline for voters in St. John's to get their mail-in ballots off to the post office. Election Day is next Tuesday.
Nunatsiovu leaders are upset with the province tonight,
saying the Premier isn't keeping his commitments over the development of Muskrat Falls. That story is up next.
The president of Nunavut says he's disappointed a key commitment from government regarding Muskrat Falls is not being honored. Johannes Lamp says last fall in meetings with the premier, it was agreed that steps would be taken to mitigate downstream methylmercury impacts. The worry over methylmercury contamination in the reservoir and downstream areas was the cause of numerous protests at the Muskrat Falls site last year. Some protesters were even jailed. Well-known Inuit carver Billy Gauthier and 2 other protesters brought attention to their cause with a 12-day hunger strike that ended in Ottawa. Then the leaders of Labrador's 3 Aboriginal groups met with the Premier in October and reached an agreement on several conditions regarding the project. But now the Nunavut government says the province hasn't met its commitment. And Johannes Lamp is the president of Nunavut. Well, President Lamp, what is the problem?
Well, Debbie, the problem that we have with the water levels at the Muskrat Falls Reservoir, where commitments were made, like you said, are not being honored, and we, the Nunavut government, would like the Premier, Nalcor, SNC Lavalin, to honor, the commitments that have been made to lower the water levels so that work can be done to look at methylmercury methylation, or of how we can further look at the issues that are a risk to health, the culture, and way of life of the Labrador Inuit, and then that concerns that we have are over and above anything that is related to this project.
Now, President Lamp, I understand SNC Lavalin, the company that's contracted to oversee the construction of the project, says there are potential serious safety risks in the reservoir if they do lower the water. What's your reaction to their concerns?
That's for the Premier to answer. And I know that the Premier of Newfoundland Labrador, Dwight Ball, has a responsibility to say to the people of the province of Newfoundland Labrador about what those safety risks are. It is a question that should be asked to the Premier of Newfoundland Labrador. But
is the Premier saying anything to you and your government?
Well, we have been talking to the Premier of Newfoundland Labrador for almost a year now on this issue, since commitments were made on asks that Nunavut government, was wanting, to be looked at, and since those commitments have been made, we were moving forward. But again, we run into issues that are not being honored.
So, President Lamb, what would you like to see happen the next step?
Would like the Premier of Newfoundland Labrador to speak to the people, and most certainly to let the people know why there are issues in lowering the water levels, where work can be done to look at methylmercury methylation, and again, our issue doesn't change. We're still looking at the province honoring the commitments that they have made, and to honor those commitments.
President Johannes Lamp, thank you very much. We'll keep an eye on this.
Okay, you're welcome.
Here Now reached out to the province and Nalcor for a response, but did not hear from them before airtime this evening. All right, another look at the weather with Carolyn. Obviously, Ryan is off today.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
But he will be back tomorrow.
And I guess everyone's keeping an eye on Jose, which has been heading up this direction, so is it actually going to have an impact here?
Yeah, it's a really slow-moving hurricane. It's a Category 1 now, but it's not expected to affect us at all.
Oh, good.
So that's some good news. Let's just start by having a look at where Jose is right now. So as I mentioned, it is slowly creeping up northwards towards the Nova Scotia area, and it's expected to kind of stall out there and then actually loop around and go back down south, and the winds will diminish significantly there. So it's not expected to affect much, particularly us. We're not going to see much of it, but Nova Scotia even not expecting too much there. There's a tropical cyclone statement in effect, but it looks like we're dodging that Jose bullet for sure. Looking ahead to tomorrow, recap of the forecast. The best place I think is probably going to be the Avalon Peninsula tomorrow. We have 17 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, very similar to what we saw today. A chance of showers along the northeast coast there later in the day, but temperatures nice and mild, 18 degrees in Grand Falls, Windsor. More showers along the west coast. That'll start this evening and persist tomorrow, and showers as well in Lab West, right along the southern part of Labrador, Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and Cartwright tomorrow as well. But Nain is looking at a mainly cloudy day tomorrow. So Tuesday night into Wednesday, that's when more rain is going to really settle in over the island. Probably about 15 to 20 millimeters expected there, but you can see it's just everywhere on the island, and parts of Labrador will also see some of this. So Wednesday afternoon, it will continue to kind of come in waves across the island and patchy showers in Labrador as well. Cooling down, Lab City looking at a high of 11 degrees on Wednesday. Happy Valley, Goose Bay though 19, so fairly nice temperature-wise anyways, but it will be wet, and you can see the whole island is expecting rain that day, but still, I'm liking these temperatures. 19 degrees in Corner Brook on Wednesday. I'll take that for this time of year for sure, and even St. John's 18 degrees with showers on Wednesday. And then looking ahead to Thursday, those showers will start to sort of move away. We'll see some heavier showers in the east here, so I think that's when we're going to be hit hardest by these showers, but you can see that things will start to kind of clear off quite nicely on Thursday. So the west coast looking pretty good for Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud, 17 degrees in Corner Brook, but it's the east that will be seeing most of that rain on Thursday. 15 as the high in St. John's on Thursday. Things clearing off nicely in Labrador, Lab City 13 with a mix of sun and cloud, but Nain, Cartwright should see some of those showers on Thursday. And as we head into the weekend, I mean, still a bit of a ways off, but so far so good. It's looking fairly nice. Friday, 15 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud in the east, 18 in central and the west. And the weekend looking like it could potentially be a wet weekend for most of the island, and temperatures certainly dropping off a bit there. And in Labrador as well, starting off the weekend wet, 17 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and eastern parts of Labrador, 17 degrees, and things also cooling off for the rest of Labrador.
And it is time now for Young Athlete of the Day. Here is hockey player Hunter Hogan, who's 8 years old and from Mount Pearl.
Yeah, he's a goalie with the Mount Pearl Blades, Extreme Hockey, and Yetman's Flyers. Hunter is certainly busy in the net.
Congratulations, Hunter. You are today's Young Athlete of the Day.
Well, coming up next, more from this week's series, Deep Trouble.
A look at the problems faced by the North Atlantic right whale. Welcome back to Here and Now. This week, Here and Now is bringing you the series Deep Trouble, North Atlantic right whale in peril. Right whales are considered to be a mysterious species. And one of the problems facing researchers is they can't pinpoint the whale's migration route. A member of the audience asked us why researchers don't just tag the right whales as they do with sharks. So we put that question to Charles "Stormy" Mayo at the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown, Massachusetts.
The earliest ones, first of all, were causing swellings on the animals, and the feeling was this is such a critically low population that the worry was adding some infection, as it appeared, to an animal that already was apparently not healthy was probably not a good idea. So that effort has been suppressed, but recently new technology has come up that is closer to the shark tracking technology, and I think we'll see more of it. That said, we might imagine every right whale tagged, and we can see the aggregations and manage them. We don't have to do these remote things with food. The problem is that whatever tag has been developed doesn't last very long, shorter than on sharks by a great deal. So you may get a snippet, a little piece of a track, and what pieces have been gotten have been fascinating. But we would then have to go out and tag them again. There's a lot of hassling involved with tagging. To get near them to tag, you have to drive them, or they get driven. And if you get tags on 4 or 5 animals, you learn something interesting about 4 or 5 animals, but you don't learn it about the population. The funding to keep tags on all of the right whales, or a big proportion, would be astronomical. To get tags on some individuals that are critical, mothers, for instance, and know where they calve and the like, that seems within reach. But the basic knowledge of where they go and aggregate is probably pretty far off.
Well, the eastern islands of the Caribbean are set to be slammed by another major storm. This time it's Hurricane Maria, which is already making waves off the coast of St. Lucia. It's been upgraded to a Category 3 storm, and it's on pretty much the same path that was destroyed by Irma less than 2 weeks ago. People in Puerto Rico and other islands in the storm sites are back in stores today, stocking up for yet another emergency.
And speaking of Hurricane Irma, in Florida, people in the lower Keys are being allowed to return home after being hit by that major hurricane.
They're picking up. They want to get everything back to normalcy, you know? So we're all pitching in and working hard.
Many are assessing the damage caused by the storm, and they are beginning the task of cleaning up and rebuilding their homes. Schools in Miami are also beginning to reopen.
Back in this country, New Democrats in the House of Commons and party members across Canada begin voting today for a new leader. Charlie Angus, Nikki Ashton, Guy Caron, and Jagmeet Singh are vying to take over from Tom Mulcair. About 124,000 New Democrats are eligible to vote. Results will be posted from the first round on October 1st.
You're giving me a million reasons to let you go. You're giving me a million reasons to quit the show.
Well, some bad news for the Little Monsters. Lady Gaga has announced she will postpone the European leg of her Joanne World Tour until the new year. The singer recently canceled a show in Brazil, citing severe physical pain.
Gaga said over Twitter that she's working with doctors to get to the root of the problem, and she hopes she'll be well enough to perform for the next 60 years or more. Welcome back once again. Well, PEI has ousted New Brunswick as the reigning lobster roll champs, and their latest creation could be the world's longest. This record-setting roll measures 61 meters. It took 12 big jars of mayonnaise, 140 baguettes, and 60 kilograms of lobster meat to complete the sandwich. And the meat alone cost $5,000. The rivalry between the island and Shediac, New Brunswick has been going on for years. The new title won't be official until the results are evaluated by the World Record Academy.
Debbie, you're making me hungry. The horror film It continues to scare up some big numbers at the box office.
Yo flow too, yo flow too, yo flow too, yo flow too!
It holds on to the #1 spot for the second week with 60 million in sales, bringing its total to almost 220 million. It now has the record as the highest earning September release ever. Meanwhile, a mother of a thud for Jennifer Lawrence's new film Mother struggled to earn only $7.5 million, an all-time low for a wide release starring the Oscar-winning actress.
Scary stuff. All right, so this is a quick recap of the next 3 days. Looking great on the Avalon Peninsula tomorrow, 17 degrees as the high with sun and cloud. Also Buren looking quite nice, but some rain moving in as we hit Wednesday. Tomorrow, central parts of the island could see some late day showers, 18 as the high there tomorrow. Corner Brook, some showers throughout the day as well in western Labrador and in the Happy Valley Goose Bay area as well, some showers there. So temperatures staying fairly mild in the mid to upper teens for the rest of, or rather for the next 3 days. So overall, not too bad, hey? So this is our viewer picture of the day, and I thought this was a lovely shot.